after last night's debate, did it move the needle at all in terms of anyone's vote?
I think so. And you know what, Anna, there's one person I think I should probably ask that. Come on in here, Marcus. Marcus was on with me last night. He has gone somewhat viral this morning. Come over here, Marcus. Marcus, we're live on MSNBC. It's good to see you again on campus. Anna Cabrera was just asking me, do you think that the debate last night moved the needle in any way for your fellow students, or they came out of it, as they went into it with their minds already made up of what they're doing?
I would say people were pretty resolved when they came in and when they left. Nobody really had too many opinion changes. If you saw with the flags how we was doing, nobody really deterred in opinion as much. So people were kind of decided going into the thing and then leaving. I know there was one person who kind of flipped,
but I think that was about it. Marcus, it's good to see you. And now the people of America know who Marcus is, Anna and Jose. He made a big impression last night, guys.
Yeah, we played his clip last hour that has gone viral, the one you mentioned. Please thank him for bringing us his civics lesson that he brought to the country last night. And Jacob, good to see you.
Thank you for your civics lesson.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Marcus.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about MSDNC celebrating a woke college student humiliating himself on national television. Now, this woke college student is a Democrat. I personally believe that the college student is a plant, okay? And one of the reasons why I believe that is because I saw his X account where this guy clearly is woke, progressive. He's a Democrat Party supporter, and they tried to disguise Democrat Party supporters as undecideds, right? People who are critically thinking about who they're going to vote for, right? When we know that's not the case, okay? But MSDNC is celebrating this college student because of the civics lesson that he gave in response to the debate last night, in which he basically is defending Kamala Harris from one of the most effective lines of attack that Republicans like JD Vance and President Trump are using against Kamala Harris. Okay, when Kamala Harris comes out here and promises all these nice things that she claims she's going to do if she's elected, the question that a lot of people have is, well, you're in power right now as vice president. Why didn't you do these things, right? Why did you not accomplish the things that you claim you're going to do if you are elected? What's stopping you from doing these things right now as vice president, okay? And this college student basically is going to make the argument that as vice president, Kamala Harris can't do any of these things. Therefore, that line of criticism is invalid. Take a look.
We were talking, Marcus, about this constant criticism about the vice president not being able, about the vice president being in office for these last, he's already upset about it. The vice president being in office for all these years and not being able to make the change was the allegation from JD Vance. You said to me, I've been to high school civics class. Why did you say that?
Because if anybody took high school civics class, they'd know what the vice president can do and what the vice president can do. I want to make a quick point. Neither candidate on that stage talked about what executive action they're going to take on day one to do what they want, nor were they asked, because they know that they can't. That's not how the vice presidency works. You don't get to do what you want. You do what the president delegates you to do. So that
one day, Marcus is going to be all of our teachers in civics class, guys. I wonder.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, I love when leftists make these naive college students go viral because they really show us that they have no business really speaking on politics like this because they have a very surface level understanding of how politics works, right? But the whole point of MSNBC trying to make this young man go viral is because, again, this is going to be the new talking point, right? Because the attack line from the GOP well, why didn't Kamala do this as VP, right? That attack line is extremely powerful, okay? That's something that you've heard undecided voters repeat when they have questions about Kamala Harris. Well, she's in office right now. Why didn't she close the border? Why didn't she do all these great things that she claims she's going to do for the economy if elected? Why she didn't implement these things as vice president, okay? And the left wants you to think that you are ignorant, that you lack an understanding of civics if you ask these questions of Kamala Harris, because now everybody in the media, they're starting to repeat this same talking point because, again, this is the talking point they got from the Democrats. So we all know how the Mockingbird media works. They come out here and they repeat these same things that Democrats are saying in defense of Kamala Harris. Take a look.
Because there were a couple things that were bothering me last night. JD Vance kept repeating, why hasn't Kamala Harris done that yet?
Not the president.
Okay, so for the very job you're running for, you are the vice president. You are the second in charge. This was Biden's administration.
Has he taken a civics class?
I apparently not, but he did say like 3 times, why hasn't she done it yet? And I'm like, if we have to stop this for a second to explain what a vice president does, we are really in trouble here.
Yeah, we are in trouble. We're in big trouble if we have buffoons like those on The View and naive college students who really believe that Kamala Harris had no influence whatsoever on the Biden administration and takes no responsibility whatsoever for the disaster that is the Biden administration and their policies. Because Joe Biden was just on The View last week where he admitted out loud on The View that he gave Kamala Harris a ton of assignments from foreign to domestic policy, and that everything that he did in his administration is the same exact thing that Kamala Harris would have done and could have done. Take a look.
And as vice president, there wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do. And so I was able to delegate her responsibility on everything from foreign policy to domestic policy.
Hold on. Wait a minute, okay? I must be hearing Joe Biden incorrectly here, okay? Because the left, they're trying to convince us that we're dumb, that we're ignorant, that we need a civics lesson. We don't understand basic civics for criticizing Kamala Harris for not doing the things that she promises she's going to do if she is elected, right? As VP, not getting those things done, right? This is what they're saying, right? However, Joe Biden went on The View and admitted that, hey, Kamala Harris, as vice president, could have done all the things that I did, right? She could accomplish all the things that I accomplished. This is what Joe Biden said. And then he said that Kamala Harris was given assignments, foreign and domestic. Okay, he delegated assignments to her, which means that she had authority over a lot of policy when it comes to foreign and the domestic agenda of Joe Biden, right? Of the Biden administration. So to say that she could not have gotten her agenda done or passed under the Biden administration is just factually incorrect. And let me explain why it's factually incorrect. Like, for example, one of her policies, no tax on tips, which she stole from Trump, this woman cast the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act that actually called for the IRS to crack down on tip wages. Now, if Kamala Harris felt so passionately about how there should be no tax on tips, why the hell did she cast the tie-breaking vote in favor of doing the exact opposite? She could have went back to Joe Biden and said, listen, we can't have the IRS cracking down on tips, right? That's not good for the American people. I don't support that. So she could have chose not to vote for it. She could have said, hey, unless they take this out, I'm not going to vote for it. But did she do that? No. If she wanted to expand the child tax credit, she could have leveraged her vote for that as well, too. Did she do that? No. She could have also leveraged her vote for the housing credits that she wants to give out, right? Her little housing plan or whatever, her small business plan, all these things, she could have leveraged that vote in order to get the Democrats on board with it or to get Joe Biden on board with it. But is there any record of her doing that? No, there's no record of her doing that, right? She did not hold up her vote once to do the things that she claims that she's going to do in her administration if she's elected. She didn't do that. In fact, again, I have to remind you, she actually voted to do the opposite of what she claims she's going to do in her so-called opportunity economy. People try to pretend as if Kamala's vote is Joe Biden's vote. That's not Joe Biden's vote. That's her vote. When Kamala goes to vote, okay, to cast a tie-breaking vote in the Senate, that is her vote. That is her saying, I support everything in this legislation. And she has a lot of leverage with that tie-breaking vote as vice president if she felt so passionately about her agenda, right? If she felt so passionately about it, she could have used that as leverage in order to do the things that she thought was best for the American people, but she didn't do that. She did the exact opposite. This woman cast 33 tie-breaking votes. She is responsible for casting the tie-breaking vote that caused the massive inflation in this country, okay? She also claimed that she was one of the last people in the room when Joe Biden made his disastrous decision when it comes to withdrawing from Afghanistan in regards to how he was going to do it, right? So she was involved in that as VP. She could have told Joe Biden, hey, I don't think this plan is going to work. I don't approve of this. I don't think this is a good idea. But did she do that? I don't think so. I don't think so. At least she hasn't come out and said that she did that. She also claimed that she was tasked with going to Ukraine to prevent Putin from invading Ukraine. And how did that work out? A complete and total disaster. But she wants you to believe that somehow she can solve the conflicts that are happening across the world, that she's going to get a ceasefire deal between Israel and Gaza. Well, you've been vice president. You've been involved in the negotiations. And if you haven't been involved in the negotiations, then what does that say about your competence? What did that say about how Democrats and the administration think of you? Because the Biden administration, Democrat, they want a ceasefire, right? They really, really, really want a ceasefire, okay? The fact that Kamala Harris hasn't gotten it done is an indictment on her capabilities, right? She can't get it done. If she can get it done, she can get it done now. She's the vice president. That doesn't mean she's powerless, but that's what they want you to think. Joe Biden made Kamala Harris border czar. She had significant say over border policy. Why didn't Kamala Harris come out and say, hey, Joe, I don't think repealing all of Trump's executive orders is a good idea? Has she said that? Has she come out and expressed any type of disagreement with what Biden has done? No. And as border czar, look at the results. An absolute disaster. So don't sit here and try to tell me, don't gaslight me and try to tell me that Kamala had nothing to do with the disasters of the Biden administration. She couldn't do anything about it as VP, as if she didn't have a voice, that she couldn't speak up, that she couldn't leverage her tie-breaking votes in order to do the things that she thought was best for the American people. And if she couldn't do that for whatever reason, then she needs to come out and explain why she couldn't do it. Why is it that she had to get on board with the Biden agenda? And what about the Biden agenda does she disagree with? What would she have done differently? She hasn't even explained that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that, oh, you can't blame Kamala for the Biden administration and their failures. But Kamala doesn't have to come out and explain what she actually disagrees with, even though she's on record voting for the failed policies of the Biden administration. It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Don't blame Kamala Harris for how she voted. It's her vote. What are you talking about? She voted for it. So, of course, she has to take responsibility. How can you say she doesn't have power to influence the administration or to get things done when this woman has a ton of leverage as VP when it comes to a tie-breaking vote? She has a ton of leverage over the Democrat Party. In fact, I would argue that Kamala Harris has more leverage as vice president than any Democrat in Congress. There's been 301 tie-breaking votes cast by vice presidents throughout all of U.S. history. Kamala Harris has cast the most with 33 tie-breaking votes. 10% of all the tie-breaking votes by vice presidents in U.S. history have been casted by Kamala Harris. She quite literally is the most powerful vice president in the history of this country. These people want you to think that you're dumb for holding Kamala Harris accountable for why she didn't leverage the power that she had as VP to do the things that she claims she's going to get done. When this woman had a ton of leverage, she was in a very powerful position as vice president. She could have done a lot to influence the Democrat Party in their economic policy. Joe Biden put her in charge of the border. Kamala Harris was in charge of the foreign policy when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. But this naive college student and the cackling hands on the view at MSNBC want you to believe that, oh, well, you don't know civics. Obviously, you don't understand civics if you're asking the question of why didn't Kamala Harris do the things that she promises that she's going to do in the future. It's amazing. It really is. These people have an elementary school understanding of politics, but they want you to think that you're uninformed and that you're dumb. It's fascinating. It really is. I love when these videos of these naive leftists, these young college students, go viral. I do, because it really reveals how ignorant they are, right? They think they're smart. They think they know everything, but you don't know a damn thing. It reminds me of that video of the young white leftist going viral for basically saying that, well, Kamala Harris getting votes to become attorney general and district attorney out in California, well, that's proof that she didn't sleep her way to the top, right? That's evidence and proof she didn't sleep her way to the top. She could not have slept her way for the top. She could have slept her way to the top. She got all these votes. What are you talking about? She didn't sleep with all these people to get those votes. Again, tell me you don't understand politics without telling me you don't understand politics. And the sad part about it is that they're so confident in their ignorance, right? They're so confident in being naive and not really understanding how things work. You have a surface level understanding and you think that you know more than everybody else. Yeah, it's just so funny to me. But anyway, again, the point is this. The new talking point from the left will be that you don't know civics if you expect that Kamala Harris is VP to, I don't know, actually use the leverage that she has as VP to do the things that she felt was best for the country. If Kamala Harris cannot influence the Biden administration, Biden clearly is not in charge. Biden clearly is not cognitively capable of setting his own agenda, right? If Kamala Harris could not influence that guy, if she could not get things done that she wanted to get done with him in charge, then clearly she's not qualified to be president. Clearly she's not qualified to get things done. Hell, Dick Cheney took advantage of the fact that George Bush wasn't the smartest, right? He wasn't the brightest bulb, right? Everybody knows that, okay? If Kamala Harris couldn't take advantage of Joe Biden to get what she thought was best for the country done, then again, it tells you everything you need to know about her abilities. They're lacking, which is probably why a lot of Democrats weren't very confident in her until they had to force Joe Biden out of the race. And then all of a sudden they love Kamala Harris. These same Democrats found it very hard to say anything positive about Kamala Harris just a year ago. It just shows you the level of desperation coming from the left, that they have to have these plants and the media now come out and repeat the new talking point from the Democrats that, hey, you're ignorant if you want to hold Kamala Harris accountable, right? As one of the most powerful VPs in recent history, holding her accountable, right, for not doing the things that she claims she's going to do. Oh, well, that means you're ignorant. You don't know civics, right? Amazing stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.